everybody. Get you some of that. Get you some of that. Get you some of that. Get you some of that good music. Get you some of it. Get you some of it. Let me tell y'all something. That music, right? Music is everything to me. Anyway, music is what helped me get through a lot of things. But first of all, happy Monday to you all. Please give me a thumbs up in the comment section if you guys can hear me. And also happy Juneteenth to you all. Happy Juneteenth, happy Juneteenth, happy Juneteenth. Okay. Um Once I see a thumbs up in the comment section, then I will know that you guys can hear me. Okay, shout out to you, Mia. Thank you so much for letting me know that you can hear me. Well, let me speak to everybody because you know I do have a set of manners. Okay. What's going on, Simply Elegant One? What's up? It's Lika Baby, aka Shalika. What's going on, Jackie? What's going on, Mia? What's going on, Prosperity Thick Girl 40? What's going on to the Nightbot as well, okay? Because he is not off his duties either. What's going on? What's going on? But again, happy Juneteenth to you all. Happy Juneteenth to you all. Listen, I want to talk about Juneteenth for a little bit because listen, I know that for us here in Texas, it is an original holiday for us here in Texas for sure. But now it is a federal holiday that is being observed across the world. And I just wanted to let y'all know what what Juneteenth is giving. Okay. Listen, Juneteenth is definitely about Black excellence. And so we one thing that we want to make sure that we do is give out that Black excellence. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to read this quick article. Um so give me just a moment here. Let me pull this up. Okay, here we go. Now, Juneteenth, the history of a holiday. On June the 19th of 1865, enslaved African Americans in Texas were told that they were free. A century and a half later, people across the United States continue to celebrate the day, which is now a federal holiday, y'all. It is now a federal holiday. Okay. Well, one thing I do want to say about that federal holiday of the Juneteenth, okay, y'all can stop trying to draft bills on the federal holiday, child, because y'all don't. Yeah, the banks and stuff is closed and stuff. You can't get no money, but they sure can take it on the Juneteenth. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But again, happy Juneteenth. So this article goes on to say that Juneteenth, an annual commemoration of the end of slavery in the United States after the Civil War, has been celebrated by African Americans since the late 1800s, y'all. President Biden signed legislation in 2021 that made Juneteenth, which falls on June the 19th, a federal holiday. After interest in the day was renewed during the summer of 2020 and the nationwide protest and followed by the police unalivings of Black Americans, including George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. There had been a noticeable increase in Juneteenth celebrations across the United States over the past few years. Let me start out by just letting you guys know some of the things that we used to do to celebrate Juneteenth. For us, it and being in the country, it's a whole weekend affair. Okay. It starts on Thursday night for us. You know, we're gonna have us a little classy night, you know what I'm saying? But then we're gonna get ratchet starting Friday. All right. You know, we meet down at the park, we enjoy us a turkey leg, a turkey wing, or whatever it may be. A Kool-Aid pickle, it may be a bag of hot Cheetos, okay? It may just be something, a corn dog, I mean, what you call a sausage on a stick, you know, we just out having a good time. Red Solo cups full of whatever you want it to be full of. If you want it to be full of that pimp juice, you good. But if you want it to be full of something else, you good there too. That's just how we celebrate it, right? One thing that I will also say is on two Sundays, we know Sundays, whenever Juneteenth weekend will fall, whatever it may be. Saturday, we know we getting up, we going to the parade. And on Sunday, we do know that we are going to be having church down at the park more than one time. And so those are some of the things that we just did to celebrate Juneteenth. Some of them are still doing it in my hometown. I was actually looking at a couple of photos and I said, the crazy thing is the same people have been participating and doing the same thing forever. So some of these young people, and this is what I want to challenge you by doing. Be a part of your community, especially when things like this happen, because then you have a voice and you are able to um celebrate in a way that maybe makes sense to you, and especially in your timing, because a lot of our older people, a lot of the pioneers and people who have been doing this for quite some time, they're tired, right? And they need someone to take over the mantle. Now some of them may be in their ways and not able or not wanting to give over that mantle, but listen, I challenge you to get active in your community. And if your community celebrates Juneteenth, make sure that you're doing something in your area. And if you're not familiar with what exactly Juneteenth is, make sure you look it up. Please, please make sure you look it up. It's a very important holiday. But I could not start this live off or any live without expressing happy Juneteenth to everyone and just letting them know exactly where this Juneteenth celebration came from, where it started, and how we may go about continuing to celebrate. So, shout out to everybody again, and happy Juneteenth to you all. All right, happy Juneteenth. Hello, Aunt Natty. Hello, hello, hello. All right, y'all. Okay, so I did again, like I said, I couldn't start this live off without saying happy Juneteenth. All right. So listen, let's go ahead and get into our recap. The Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's a season 15, episode 7. Okay. I do have quite a few things to say. I did have my little rant on Twitter as well. Cause child, what is going on down there to the Atlanta, child? What is going on down there to the Atlanta? But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Give me just a second. I'm getting my notes. All right, let's get it and let's go, child. Let's get it and let's go. Now, the this is season 15, episode 7, keeping it Gucci, baby. Okay, they keeping it Gucci, baby. But I mean, anyway, we gonna get into it, okay, for sure, for sure, for sure. Um, Welcome to everybody that is just coming in. Please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And honey, right now it is 4:09 and 5:09 on the East Coast. So if you would like to show love to the channel, you are more than welcome to do so. It's going to be scrolling across the bottom of the screen. And whatever time that you send, you can send that. You know what I'm saying? Or you can add some zeros to it. It's totally up to you. All right. Let's go ahead and get into this episode. All right. Oh, I thought I had this already pulled. Ugh. All right, let's get into it. So Drew meets her um with someone that she's wanting to manage her video. Okay, this is someone that she used to work with back in the days, in her acting days and stuff like that. And he is definitely glad to see her on her music kick, see her doing what she's doing, and he here for it. But he also lets her know, you know, there are a couple of things in regards to her marriage. Once they get over that little 8-year hump, then they're gonna be good. Now, the irony of this whole thing is the fact that we have seen them actually physically race down to the courthouse to file for divorce. So I do think us seeing what was filmed prior to that is completely, completely interesting. However, this is how she's doing. And one thing I would also like to say too is um the interesting thing is listen, I love Drew and her acting. Like Drew really has a lot of things under her belt, and I'm really not sure why these ladies like to play in her face, but Drew got a lot going on, and that's just my take on Drew, right? But anyway, she meets with this guy, they figure out things for her music video for the song that her and Ralph has done, child. Now, after this scene, because this was the opening scene, after this scene, we meet up with Sanya and Sheree Child. They go down to get them a crown therapy. All right. Now, Sanya brings up that Sheree was mentioned by Rihanna, child. She was mentioned by Rihanna, but child, she by Sheree was still not Sheree when Brianna mentioned her. Now we just gonna keep it all the way 100 and a book about that. She by Sheree wasn't she by Sheree at all. She was she by Sheenan, like Candy said. But anywho, she was happy about it, and so she also throws shade at Candy in her confessional, saying that Candy threw shade at her, when it came down to the whole thing about her business. And one thing I'll say again too, in this particular situation, I don't really like Sheree trying to make it seem like Candy is just tearing down her business. Girl, you are completely responsible for she not being ready when it was supposed to be ready. We just gonna call it a bug. We're gonna keep it a bug, okay? You just wasn't ready, and that was on you, sis, not on Candy. Okay, so getting back into the actual episode, so they have a conversation, and of course Sanya goes in to let Sheree know why Ross is still over in the Austin, Texas area, because they do have that business here. Now she said to Carlos King that it took a toll during the panorama, or whatever the case may be, and that's why he's consistently over there working. Child, I don't know how to feel about that, but anyway, I take your word for it, girl. Um, I take your word for it. I take your word for it, girl. So then Sanya brings up the division in the group, and Sheree couldn't agree more because she is saying that it's a lot of tension in the room, and she would like to honestly sit down with the girls and make something happen, right? So she stated that she was gonna call this event "Let's Make Sure We Gucci," okay, something like that, something about being Gucci, okay. So all of the ladies, are supposed to wear Gucci and try to mend what's going on. Okay. All right. Now, then we get a scene from Candy meeting up with Sonya. Well, actually, we get a scene with oh yeah, Candy met with Sonya first. Okay, so we have a meetup with Candy and Sonya at OLG, and I am actually wrong. So we did get to sit down between Marlo with this same peach outfit that she was wearing last year. But anyway, we get a sit. And I was just wondering, Marlo, do you rent your clothes out to yourself too? That's quite interesting if you do, girl. It's quite, I'm not mad at you, girl. But anywho, she has to sit down with Courtney. Now, y'all, I'm still not a fan of Courtney. It's not because Courtney is into it with Candy or anything of that sort. Courtney just rubs me the wrong way. It's just she just rubs me the wrong way. I just don't really care for her, and I'm still trying to figure out why she's here. Okay, but anyway, they sit down and they have a conversation about um Marlo possibly getting ready to go on a blind date. Child, her best friends is setting her up on a blind date. Courtney is letting her know, like, hey, we here for this blind date, child. But anyway, they ended up um saying that all the girls and the ladies do to Marlo is tell her down, child. Tell her down, tell her down, tell her down. Well, we also get a pan over to Candy and Sonya having a conversation. And Candy tells Sonya straight up, girl, I don't know about you. I don't know about you. And if y'all think about it, I'm sorry, but at the end of this episode, and we're gonna get into it for sure, but Candy and Kenya was saying some of the same things to Sonya when it comes to like their individual friendship. Um, and I think what would make Sonya a good housewife, I'm sorry, but if she would just go ahead and admit that she on the fence about a lot of stuff. I'm just saying, nobody in their right mind probably wants to say that they are flip flopper, but girl, at some point you just gotta own that thing because the stuff that you do in honor of Marlo is real whack and weird to me. But so they have a seat, and Candy reveals, that no, I'm sorry, Sonya reveals to Candy that Kenya and Drew may not have related the message to Candy right. So they was trying to say that Sonya was trying to say that they probably added some sauce on it when they had the conversation with Candy. But it wasn't though. This was my thing, Sonya. You really acting like Candy didn't live the experience with Marlo. Y'all had to film this, and not only that, but they actually physically had to go through it when they went through it. So for you to tell her that, in my opinion, was just off to me because I'm really over here like tapping my head, thinking to myself, like, what? You saying it's like she didn't live it, and you're saying that Kenya and Drew went back and told something that was wrong. What exactly are you talking about? Drew had our own experience with Marlo that same night, and you were not there. So you can't say that Drew took it to her wrong when Drew was the one that was there and you wasn't. You really just want to take Marlo's side. And to me, I just again, you just have to walk and own the fact that you want to take her side. Like that's just what it is. That's what it would be with me. Okay. What's going on, Dr. Hope? What's up, Donald? How are you? Happy Juneteenth to you as well. Now, um, Courtney brings up when she's having a conversation with Marlo, she brings up the timing, right? She brings up the timing and she says, why haven't you said anything to Candy if this was 2 years ago? Right? So here go, Marlo. I hadn't seen Candy. What? Marlo, are you really going to play with us in our face? I made this whole tweet. I'm about to read this tweet to y'all because this really irritates me. This irritates me. And I have to really call this stuff out because I see a lot of people riding for Marlo in a way that just don't seem real. Okay, so hold on 1 second. And I'm going to read this tweet to y'all real quick because after watching this episode, I definitely felt the way. Okay, so this is what I said, and this was 7 hours ago. I said, just watch the episode of RHOA. I can't really see how y'all taking Marlo serious. I'm sorry, but she said that she had not seen Candy, which is a lie, sweetheart. This happened way before filming season 15. You had Candy and the gang in the way. You had season 14 reunion. You had all this ample time to bring up this issue when it came to Candy. And one thing you cannot tell us is that the timelines that we are coming up with aren't making sense because, sweetheart, y'all went right back into filming of just a couple of weeks. If I'm not mistaken, the very week after BravoCon. So you knew about this stuff prior to, and y'all have been in the same spaces. So Marlo is a liar when it comes to that because you are not telling the truth. You have not seen Candy. How come you haven't seen Candy? And all of these experiences in which you guys have filmed has come about. We, the viewers, are not stupid. Okay, so then she goes on, and I also say this: you have been to several events in which you've seen Candy. And this episode, you also contradict. She also contradicts herself at the end of the episode by saying that Candy is selfish and doesn't do anything for her. But this was the same person who sat in Candy's face last season and said that Candy was the only girl that was supporting her when it came to the nephews. She didn't say nothing about what Sonya do for her. She didn't say nothing about what Marlo does for her. I mean, what not what Marlo does for her, but what Sheree does for her. She didn't say that, right? She told Candy when she went to go see Candy, when Candy was doing her Halloween shoot, she specifically sat there and told Candy. She said, the only thing that I don't like maybe coming from your area or where I feel like we can do better at is the fact of you being more hands-on with the nephews. That came out of Marlo's mouth. So you contradicting yourself in the relationship in which you have with Candy, which is another reason why I can't sympathize nor empathize with you. I can't. Because timeline wise, it just don't make sense, Marlo. And this is what else I said. It contradicts the storyline from last season with Candy. She was the only girl to seen your nephew cash apps, etc., coming from you. Now she is selfish and don't do anything for you because you really deep down inside feel like Candy owe you a reimbursement check for your mama's for your nephew. I'm sorry. That's just what it gives. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all can really disagree or agree. But when it comes to Candy, I do feel like y'all are reaching, and I'm not even a diehard Candy fan. Like I'm not ever riding for Candy. I never have. But when it comes to Marlo and Sheree, y'all be reaching when it come to Candy. This is a situation at the same token, Marlo. You got to understand, you wouldn't have said nothing about it. You wouldn't have said absolutely nothing about it had your family not said anything to you. Your family was the one that said something to you about the you or Candy not doing something about it. If that was the case, your family should have went to Candy. I'm just keeping it all the way 100 because you and Candy, throughout the whole 10 years that y'all have been so-called friends, y'all relationship have not been top tier. So we're not about to do that. Now, Candy goes on to say she gets emotional where she begins to let us know that she is not a sentimental person. Okay, she lets us know that she is not a sentimental person. She lost her brother when she was 15, which we all knew that, right? She lost her brother, and so those emotions start to come out. And so she's telling Sonya about that, right? And she's telling Sonya that I am not the sentimental person who sends you flowers or who sends you this or who does that. And really, honestly, y'all, listen, one thing that I've learned in life is that expectations, just because they are your expectations, don't mean that they're always going to happen. I learned that a few years ago, especially in my relationship, like with my best friend. My expectations of what I would do, you can't rub that on someone else and blame them for not doing what you would do. I'm sorry, that's a part of life. And that is something as an adult that you have to understand and you have to realize. Expectations you want from someone else, you're going to be disappointed every time because you're going to set yourself up for something that you would do for somebody that that person may not do for you. I just honestly feel like again we put those expectations in the wrong spot, only for us to get disappointed in return and want to keep up a storyline that really shouldn't be. Marlo, just say your expectations were for Candy to either pay for the funeral, send flowers, send sprays, whatever the case may be. I don't know, but you make it very hard to sympathize and empathize with you in this situation because you keep dragging this on, and it was based off of your expectation, and you gonna have to fix your expectations for other people when it comes to you, not what you would do to other people. And that was something that Sonya said in her interview with Carlos King. Well, Marlo's a good friend. Marlo likes to give gifts. That's not everybody's love language though, dog. It's not. And everybody isn't required to do the same things that you do for them for you. It's not a requirement, unfortunately. And I think sometimes if we realize that as adults, I think we could honestly have better relationships with people because we're not necessarily expecting something out of them that we are expected to give in a friendship. And y'all let me know how y'all feel about that because I could be completely wrong. But that's something that I've realized in my life is that expectations that you may have set is not the expectations that your that other people have set. It just don't work like that. Life don't work like that, right? So that's how I feel like it comes to when it comes to Marlo. You just expected something that um Candy just don't do, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't make her a bad person. I want to say that as well doesn't make her a bad person because she didn't send you a flower or a card. But they also showed a flashback in which that lady consoled you when you came over her house. You made it a point to bring up that y'all was packing up for Riley and all of this kind of stuff, but you also made it a point to say that you were super emotional and you made it seem like Candy just sat on the other side of the room and didn't have anything to say to you. That lady got up from where she was sitting at, came over and hugged you. I want Marlo to stop. I hope this is the last week because I am so over this. It is very draining to the viewers. It's draining to a lot of people to see that you want to keep going at it with Candy about this situation. And it's not being dismissive. I'm just over it. Okay. So that's how that conversation went when it came to Sanya and Candy, and then Drew. I mean, what's her name? what the name is, Marlo and Courtney. Okay. All right. So then we get a scene from hold on, get back to my notes, child. All right, so then we get a scene from that's because I'm looking at the wrong notes. Okay, we get a scene from Drew and Ralph. Okay, child, Drew is getting ready to prepare for her video and stuff like that. Now, the man had already asked about Ralph's shape and if he, needed to be in shape because Ralph is eye candy. I ain't listen. Y'all might disagree with me, but Ralph do look like he got, and this probably ain't no good thing, but Ralph look like he got some good old toxic pink. Okay. And they ain't saying it's a good thing, but that was just what it looked like to me. Okay. So Ralph is a little feeling some type of way because he wasn't asked to be in the video and all of that kind of stuff. Child, I was just like, oh Lord have mercy. So anyway, I'm what I will say about Drew is I'm glad that Drew is in another bag, and I hope that she honestly stays in that bag for real, for real. Okay. All right. So Kenya goes to meet with her doctor. Now I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. I'm probably gonna skip over this part because I don't really know about the whole embryo thing and stuff like that. And so I don't want to misdirect or guide anybody in regards to this. I really don't. But what I do know is that she says that she has embryos with Mark. And I was side eyeing Kenya because I'm like, adoption should be the option. And again, I'm not a woman. I don't know what it feels like to go through these things. But for me, I felt like her bringing that up was crazy to me because it's like you supposed to have a conversation with Mark on the phone about having his children possibly. I don't know. That's what I got from it. Again, I don't know much about embryos and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know much about that stuff, right? At all. But what I will also say too, this is what this is what I will also say. Um, I could probably understand why Kenya would want a playmate for Brooklyn. And one of those reasons why I was thinking is maybe because we do need that playmate. When I was adopted, I the home that I was first adopted into, it was only me. And one of the things that I wanted was a brother or a sister or somebody that could like I could enjoy. You know what I'm saying? So I would beg my mom all the time, like, please, can you please adopt me a brother? Please, I'll go to the school and find you somebody to adopt. Okay, that's what I will do. That's just what I wanted. I wanted someone else in the household with me because I felt some type of way about being the only child. So I can get that, but like I said, I don't know much about like embryos and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know about that type of stuff. So that's why I say I'm just gonna glide over. But the obvious part of that, I was a little curious. Okay. But anyway, hey Kiana, what's going on? What's going on, Demetria? What's going on? What's going on, child? Did he ever say who he went to Florida with to see? I think it was a oh, Dr. Holt, Dr. Holt. Ain't no telling, Dr. Holt. Ain't no telling, ain't no telling. I don't know. I don't know. All right. So again, okay, so we talked about Kenya. All right. So we all meet up for Sheree's event, okay, which is the So Gucci event. All right. This is the So Gucci event. Of course, she sends a text out to the ladies about certain things when it comes to the brunch. Okay. It did look a little cute, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, their food did look good. Okay. I'm just gonna keep it all the way 100. Them lobsters and things like that, all of that food looked good. Okay, but one thing I have to commend these folks in reality TV on is them sitting down at a table. Hey, Kiana, what's going on? Oh, I think did I speak? I hope I spoke to everybody. They sitting down at a table and they literally getting into a back and forth. One of the things that I think is so interesting is some of them get to eat and some of them don't really necessarily get to eat just depending on how that scene go. But baby, one thing about me, you can piss me off to the uttermost. I'ma sit down there and eat that free food. Yes, I am. Uh-huh. I'm fit to sit down there and eat all of it. I sure am. And it's worse if I do have to pay for it. Okay. I'm eating all that food, so you just gonna have to be pissed off. Cause we eating over here. Okay, anywho. A toast on Linux is good. Okay, come on now, toast on Linux. I'm gonna have to try that out because that food did look good. That food look good. Okay, so of course, as they come in, they have an actual seating chart, but Marlo, I mean not Marlo, Candy asked to change the seating chart because of how close Marlo was to her. She was on the other side of um Sonya at first, but now she's moved over to the other side of the table where she's on the end with Courtney and all of and Drew and all of that. Okay. Now they end up talking about some of the first things. Courtney and Candy are the first two to hash out their issues. Child, is- anyway, Courtney said, but Candy says that she appreciated Courtney for coming out checking on her in the last episode when she blew up on Marlo because she really didn't have to go out, come outside and check on her. So she appreciated her for doing such a thing. Okay. Um, so they are able to move past this whole ghetto notion and this whole ghetto this and this whole ghetto that. They ready to move on past the ghetto. Okay. Now that was um okay, child, whatever. That was Candy and Courtney. All right. So then they move over, and Drew was definitely being shady, and I was here for it. I ain't gonna even lie. When they first sat down, Drew was being real shady, and I was definitely here for it. Now, Candy as okay, I said that. Now Sheree gets emotional and says that the group needs to get back to a good place. Now, this is what I got to say about the OG. This is what I got to say about the OG. If you really want to have that title and walk in that OG, you could have controlled that table. I'm just keeping it all the way 100. You could have controlled that table when it came to Kenya and Drew and all of that kind of stuff. If you felt like Marlo was being disrespected and didn't have an opportunity to speak her piece or whatever the case may be, I think Sheree as an OG could have controlled that room. What we doing? What we doing, OG? What we doing? What we doing? I do feel like she could have controlled that room a little bit more. Now, Tanya says that she feel Sanya is having the conversation about Kenya and their whole friendship. She brings up the whole Birmingham thing when Kenya told her she can leave and not come back. So they get to talking about that, right? And as they're talking about it, Kenya goes on to say that she just doesn't trust Sanya as a friend. In other words, Kenya brings up this whole fake booty comment and all of this stuff. They throw their shade in the confessionals about Kenya's fake booty and all of that kind of stuff. Now, Kenya says that Marlo always gets the loyalty even when wrong. So basically, even when she's wrong, it's like she gets loyalty for being wrong. That's what she's telling Sonya. So Sonya says that she's been a consistent friend, and um Marlo says that Kenya brought this up to attack her, or she's going to look for a way to attack her in any way. It should be between Sonya and Marlo, but you can tell. Now there is um Marlo says that her and Kenya, Marlo says that she can pretty much coexist, right? She can pretty much coexist. Kenya tells Sonya, like, girl, I got to see how you move in order to see how this friendship is gonna go. I got to see how you gonna move first. Okay. So they go on to have another conversation, and as they're having a conversation, things get a little rowdy. They get a little rowdy. So still Candy and Marlo are having a conversation, right? And you can tell Candy is over it. Candy is absolutely over it. And again, I explain why I stand with Candy and the reason why she is probably over it. Okay, because everything that Marlo is doing is definitely coming off very disingenuous. Now, um, while Marlo is trying to get out what she's trying to say, Drew and Kenya pretty much attack her, but they have a right to, and here's why. And I think they should have got on Sanya because Sanya was the one that went back and told Candy that they didn't bring the information right, like they had to lie and twist up some stuff. And my thing was, Sanya wasn't even present at the time. Sanya wasn't present. Drew was present with Marlo at that time. So whatever Drew is actually saying, you gotta listen to it. You sitting up here making it seem like Drew and them came and carried a bone to Candy that was just invisible or wasn't it, but that's not what that was. It's not what that was. Now we can look at Drew all sideways for not saying the word shooting or whatever the case may be. But when Drew really had that moment with Marlo, it was definitely a moment that should not be put on the back burner. Okay, because Marlo did act a plumb fool. Okay. So that's how I felt about that. Now, Marlo gets up talking about she got to go to the restroom and stuff like that, but she's actually technically leaving the room. Okay. She gets ready to leave the room, and here's what I have to say about that. Bravo. I don't know if y'all gonna wait till maybe the reunion to show us some unaired footage from this scene, but that scene was very rushed because what I noticed, if y'all noticed, it went from them kind of talking to Marlo to Kenya going off to talk about Marlo selling her poo nanny and stuff like that. So there must have definitely been some shots thrown that were taken out of the episode. That's what I got from that moment. That moment was heavily edited. Okay, because I kind of wonder how they got to that particular point of Marlo getting up. Because you can tell now at first when Marlo said she was going to the restroom, that when she stood up, she had words back and forth with somebody. You can tell. You can most definitely tell. I don't know if it was Kenya. I don't know if it was Candy and Kenya. I don't know if it was Drew, Candy, and Kenya. I don't know what it was, but you can definitely tell that there was a moment of them actually going back and forth. Because when Marlo got up and decided to walk out, and Kenya was saying what she was saying, Marlo didn't go to the restroom. She went all the way outside. Okay. And I guess she was anticipating on leaving, right? So Sheree goes out and follow her, Marlo, Marlo, Marlo. So Marlo starts crying about how nasty Kenya is and all of this kind of stuff. And I again, this is my thing um when it comes to uh 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 um hey, Alila, what's going on, mother of one? What you're saying makes sense because I was like, yeah, it was definitely a heavy edit because I had to go back and rewind it a couple times. So I was like, how we get to this point from where we just was? We was all sitting down, kind of having. It wasn't a cohesive conversation, and it wasn't probably a good conversation, but it wasn't to the level in which we heard Kenya throwing all of the H words and P words and all of that kind of stuff out there like that. We didn't think that that was gonna happen, right? Well, at least I did. One of the things that I also found interesting that I didn't get to talk about was when Marlo was trying to talk to Candy, Sanya interrupted Sonya saying, "Girl, I don't need you being her lawyer today." And I think again, when you keep saying, "I want Marlo and Candy to have a conversation," Sonya, shut up. Shut up. You are a part of the issue. Yeah, you are a part of the issue because you keep taking things back to one another. You don't want to be on the side of what is right when it comes to these friendships. And I get it. If you hold a loyalty to Marlo, I just need you to hold a loyalty to Marlo to let her know when she's wrong and maybe when she's right. Because at the end of the day, you ain't giving, you just not giving that. And then for you to tell Candy that you don't want to no longer be in any of Marlo's crossfires is weird to me. It's so weird. Sonya is a weird person. And I keep seeing all these long dissertations on Twitter about how she is a good fit for the show, whatever the case may be. I ain't found it yet. I ain't saying she need to be gone, but I just ain't found where she just fits in with this group of women. I don't see it. And listen, it's no issue with Sonya picking a side because I see that too being a conversation. Well, what's the issue with Sonya picking a side? There's no issue with Sonya picking a side, but walk in it and own it. You are gonna forever be on Marlo's side, and you just need to say that. It's cool. It's okay. It's okay. You just gotta be honest about it, in my opinion. Okay. So Candy tell her if you and them flowers that you was expecting to get, because she Marlo comes back in, of course. And so that's what Candy said. F them flowers that you was expecting to get. And I understand why Candy is at that place. People aren't understanding that this is a narrative that this lady wants to perpetuate as if she's not there for her people that she truly rock with. Marlo, you have done some crazy things to this woman who have given you opportunities. I listen, people can say what they want to about Candy, right? People can say what they want to about Candy. But regardless of how Marlo feels about whatever that contract was, about that other show or anything else that Candy has done, Candy still rise to the top and gave you that opportunity. And I don't understand what's the big deal. Like, you trying to hang something over her head that you know is just wrong, to have a shooting over your business. It's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you, the way you trying to correlate it, it just ain't right. I'm really hoping that this is the last week that we drag this mess out. I'm over it. I'm so over it. It is draining to hear them continue to talk about this. Okay. I would like to go a review without discussing Marlo coming at Candy about something like that. Just saying. Okay. Just saying. Overall, I think this was a pretty decent episode. You know what I'm saying? The ladies, you know, they sat down and they, I guess they attempted to have a conversation. Now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I'm ready for next week because baby Candy got Sheree a little gagged, and child, she already stuttering and don't know what to say. Spring, September, summer about them, about that Sheba Sheen. Okay, it was Sheba Sheen, sis. And one thing I'm also say too is you cannot be mad at Candy because everything that happened from your business was on you. It was on you. Everybody was talking about it. That's why I'm not understanding why you so upset with Candy, because everybody was discussing it. Everybody was discussing it. And then you want to have an issue with everybody about a piece or a segment of your business because you want to have an issue with Drew about you confiscating all that stuff. And I truly honestly believe Sheree did confiscate that stuff. I do not believe that Drew is lying about that. I do believe that Sheree took that stuff back. Okay. I do believe it was done for the cameras, but that's just my opinion though. You know, just my opinion. Well, listen, y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about this episode because I thought it was a pretty good episode. I'm a rated a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7.8. I'm gonna give it a 7.8, and I just gotta keep taking it off because I'm so tired of hearing about this shooting. I am. I'm so tired of hearing about it. So I'm hoping that next week we're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. We want to talk about something different. Okay. We talk about something so different. We are getting ready to be 8 episodes into the season. And this is heavy. Okay. Now, also, y'all, I don't typically do this, but I think I am gonna do a video about what Carlos King had to say about Candy and Kingdom. He said that he do not believe that they don't have no uh 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 they don't have no relationship outside of the show. Carlos, I think everybody that typically even like your take on certain things disagree with you on that. One thing we do know is Candy and King, you got a real friendship. We're not gonna even do that, Carlos. We're not gonna do that. But you need to be worried about the connections and friendships that you have on your show. Okay, worry about that. Drive down there to Huntsville, make sure them friendships is right. Going down there to the Jackson, Mississippi, and make sure them friendships is right. Make sure them friendships is right up there in DC, and make sure they right in Detroit. Because what you talking about over here, I don't even understand why Carlos likes to continue to talk about Candy. I wouldn't want to recap or review this show. Like it don't make sense to me. It don't make sense. Chef Donna, it is sad because it's not fair that Kenya gets to speak out on Marlo when Sheree said for nobody to talk until everyone said what they said. Well, I agree with you on that, but also that's why I said editing comes into play because something was skipped in that moment. You can definitely tell it wasn't a continuous rolling scene. I'm pretty sure they filmed that scene for hours, right? We only saw what 10 minutes of it, but I really honestly believe it was something else. Now, Kenya being petty, kind of not talking over, I mean, kind of talking over Marlo or whatever the case may be, I can see why people wouldn't be here for that. But I solely honestly believe it's the way that the energy, it was the energy in which I think the room shifted in that we didn't necessarily get to see. And I mean, that's just my take on it, but I can totally see where you at with that. If Carlos don't mind his business here, Carlo is doing the absolute most because I'm trying to figure out how is it that Candy and Kenya ain't really real friends, and he brought up the fact that considering how Kenya came on the show. Girl, we are several seasons into this and years into this thing. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Kenya has been on the show 10 whole years now. And you trying to tell me that because of the way that Kenya came onto the show that there's no there's no change, no nothing in her that could sprout a friendship between her and anybody that she been on the show with this long time. Candy has been on the show and ain't had no breaks. Kenya has been on the show. She only had one break, which was the break in season 10. Other than that, come on now. What are we talking about, Carlos? What are we talking about? And we basing it off of Portia and Phaedra's relationship? Are you serious? Are you serious? Because of the relationship that Candy and Phaedra had, why would they, I don't even understand why they even came out of Carlos' mouth because that don't make no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And I, like I said, the people that even ride for him still trying to figure out what the hell he talking about. Cause we don't know. And he also said in his video, yeah, y'all gonna drag me and read me. We is because you knew when you said that, and you knew when that came out your mouth that that wasn't even no that wasn't you girl. You should have repeated that. That's what that was. Okay. So listen, this was pretty much my recap and review for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay. I am hoping that you all are having a great day. I know some of you are off. Some of you guys are just enjoying family and friends. Some of you guys just enjoying your day or whatever the case may be. I'm hoping that you are absolutely having an amazing day. Listen, one thing I want to say is the weight of the world is on our shoulders, and that go for everybody, right? They go for everybody. So try to move with a little grace. Try to move with a little grace, a little understanding. And just know that we are all human at the end of the day. We are all human at the end of the day. Okay. And we all need a moment to relax, unwind, and make this thing happen. So again, I hope you guys are off for the holiday. Happy Juneteenth to you all. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. Um, and listen, we will be recapping Summer House Martha's Vineyard tomorrow. Okay, so make sure that you guys are here for that. We only have two more episodes. I am calling out every day that I can think about it. I'm calling Bravo out to give Summer House a reunion because I do think that Summer House deserves a reunion. I understand that this was their first season, and typically when it's the first season of a pilot show like this, they may not consider a reunion, considering that they only are getting 9 episodes or 8 episodes. But I really hope and pray that they do get a reunion because I think that they deserve it. There's a lot of stuff going on in that house down there at the Martha's Vineyard, okay? And they need to be able to talk about it and dish it out on the show. Because even for Watch What Happens Live, only three or four of them have been a guest on throughout the whole time that they've been on TV. So I think to be fair, y'all get them. them other summer houses reunion. So I really think that Summer House Martha Vineyard deserve one as well. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, I'm just to get off of here because I must go wind down, take some meds, and probably crawl back in the bed because it's just one of those days. Again, I hope that you all are having a great Juneteenth. If you don't know what Juneteenth is, exactly look it up. Look it up. And I understand that a lot of people don't know, considering where we kind of started. You know what I mean? So again, thank you guys so much. If you'd like to show love to the channel, it will be pasted in the description box of this actual video. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and you guys have a great rest of your Monday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.